That's where Captain Anderson hangs out.
He's been in here for sure.
We had a sleepover with the old captain. I felt a hand on my back.
It was as if someone had come up to me and just right next to my ear gone.
We pick up our story of the Solway Lass in 1934. Solway Lass is 32 years old. She is purchased by a Welshman, Captain J. Anderson of Portmadoc. At this time, Solway Lass's history becomes particularly murky and difficult to understand. A lot of the dates and accounts about what happened to her conflict with each other, so I'm going to try and piece it together as best I can. Good old Captain Anderson had the bright idea of installing a paraffin engine into Solway Lass to assist in entering and leaving harbour. So Solway Lass transitioned from a pure sailing boat into a motor schooner. This sounded like a really good idea to bring the boat up to date with modern technology and just make her generally easier and safer to manoeuvre. However, this didn't work out very well for Captain Anderson or the Solway Lass. I found the following news report about what happened next. Her flag flying at half-mast, the Portmadoc motor schooner Solway Lass was towed into Pwllheli Harbour by the Pwllheli lifeboat this morning. Late last night, the Pwllheli lifeboat was called to the assistance of a ship in distress in Cardigan Bay. After leaving Bardsey Island for Cardigan Bay, engine trouble was experienced. The captain, after attending to it, came on deck feeling giddy and remarked that the engine was fuming badly. He went into the engine room again and was later followed by Mabry, who found him unconscious on the floor and the engine room full of fumes. Mabry became ill and shouted to Hughes to leave the wheel. Hughes then went below and saw the two men unconscious on the floor. He got some rope and managed to haul both men on deck. The captain, however, was beyond aid. Hughes then again went down to the engine room and stopped the engine. With Mabry still unconscious and the captain dead, he had to take charge of the ship and steered it near to the Criccieth shore. There, he burnt some of his clothing and so drew attention to the ship's plight. So there you have it. That's how Solway got her ghost. Captain Anderson died in the engine room, and it seems that he's decided to stay. But the story doesn't end there. According to rumour, Solway then slipped her anchor, so her anchor slid out, chain and all, and she was left adrift. If that rumour is true, Solway Lass became a proper ghost ship. We don't know how long she drifted for. It could have been a short time, but it could have been up to 2 years. In 1937, there was a massive snowstorm, and the Solway Lass was washed up on the shores of Sandymount near Dublin. She still had a load of coal on board, and the cargo had to be painstakingly offloaded by horse-drawn carts. Apparently, there was enough coal to keep the local town fueled for 2 years. Ever since then, there have been a lot of ghost sightings on Solway Lass. I don't know why Captain Anderson has chosen to stay aboard Solway, but I've had my share of cold chills, prickly moments and hair standing on end when he's come to pay me a visit. What the hell was that? Guests and crew on the Solway Lass have reported seeing Captain Anderson. He seems to be more active at some times than at others, and he doesn't seem to like strangers on the boat.
I've never met him personally, but I've seen people that have, and they actually look like they'd seen a ghost. They said they're pretty ugly guy.
How often do you think people encounter Captain Anderson on Solway Lass?
I think it's not often, but it's regular. You know, just a few a year, and they just come out rattled.
So if you do encounter Captain Anderson, please let us know so we can record it in the ship's log. After all these incidents, Captain Anderson's widow sold Solway Lass to a Danish company, and she went back to shipping cargo around the Baltic Sea. When World War II broke out, Solway Lass was sailing under a Dutch flag, and she was pressed into service again, but this time by the Germans. She was put to use as a military supply vessel, supporting the Wehrmacht and the Kriegsmarine, the German Army and the German Navy. So Solway Lass has come full circle. She started out fighting against U-boats, then she helped them find their way home, And finally, after being haunted and drifting as a ghost ship, she finds herself on the U-boat side. I wonder if her being haunted contributed to this dark turn of events. It seems she had a really rough time during World War II. She was bombed by the Americans, and she struck a mine. Solway Lass was definitely sunk during World War II. The crew managed to get her into shallow water before she went down, and she was subsequently raised and put back into service. She must have been a real mess after she was raised and repaired, because she was renamed the Bent. I cannot find any pictures of her, so I'm guessing at this stage she was too ugly to photograph. After the war, in 1949, Solway Lass returned to Holland. She was purchased by J. Olsen, who renamed her the Sunderved. It appears she was cleaned up and refitted. Because of her incredibly strong hull, he put her to work as an icebreaker in the Baltic, and we know at this stage that she was fitted with a proper diesel engine. Solway Lass then disappears from the historical record. We have no idea what she was doing until 1972. So we have no idea what Solway was doing over that period, but knowing Solway's history, it was probably something a little bit dodgy. She is a pirate ship after all, so I suspect she may have been rigged up as a spy boat. It was the period of the Cold War, so she might have been out there looking innocent, spying on American or Russian submarines. Who knows what side she was on? I am just speculating here. She might have just been out doing her regular run, doing cargo runs through the Baltic, or breaking ice. We just don't know what she was doing. It's a bit of a mystery.
And where I'm standing is the hatch that goes down to the engine room. That's where Captain Anderson hangs out. He likes to be down there because it's warm and good, and he likes the chaos of the engine room.
He's been in here for sure.
We had a sleepover with the old captain.
It was closed all night because you locked us in here because you were scared.
You locked us in here with the lock.
Yeah, she locked us.
A ghost would go through walls.
Did you lock in to try and get away from a ghost?
I did.
Locked up. How well do you think that's going to work?
Well, the door stayed closed for the rest of the
Yeah,
day.
but he can come through walls, and that
I
means
know,
that
but
he.
I just.
If you don't,
I was scared.
if you don't let ghosts in, that's when they get mad.
Yeah.
He can come in if he wants.
No,
No, but you being like, no,
locked
this
it.
is my boat now, bitch. You can't come in. That's kind of rude, you know.
And then
This is
ghosts
his
will get
boat.
mad.
Ow! Well, I slept with the blanket over my face all night because I was so scared.
Oh really? With like
Should
a
we
little
come
breathing
cuddle?
hole.
Yes.
Halfway through the night, I woke myself up with a scream. So I screamed because of something, and that caused me to wake up. And I sort of half heard my scream as it was finishing. Ah! A bit like that. Loud and short. It was as if someone had come up to me and just right next to my ear gone like that. Like blew a raspberry in my ear. Unless someone came into my room and did that, which would be pretty impressive to get in because I'm right in the corner, do it and run out in time, it could only have been a ghost of Captain Anderson.
Often a little bit scary as a young fella when you were downstairs by yourself.
But I've been seeing some weird shadows, I would say. Sometimes I turn around and I see something like, and it was actually today.
Oh, today? During the day? Really?
In the middeck. It was after lunch, and I was sitting next to my friend Cameron, who's sitting up there, and I felt a hand on my back, like this type of action. So my back felt like that, and I thought my friend Cameron was trying to get my attention, so I turned to him, and his body was faced entirely in the other direction, talking to somebody on his other side. So both of his hands were not in a place where he could have touched me on the back. And then I looked to my right to see if there was somebody else on that side. There was nobody there, and there was nobody behind me. From that point, I deduced it might have been Captain Anderson.
He scared me the first night because I was out sleeping on the deck by myself, and then I heard like these footsteps, and like I kept looking up and there was nothing there, and I had just like bad vibes. But then tonight was fine.
Yeah, he doesn't like strangers. Like when new people are on the boat, he wants to scare them.
Yeah, And I was terrified, but then last night I was with you girls. I was scared at first because I haven't seen that before, but it was nice afterwards.
Pretty common thing on this boat.
Yeah, no, he was fine.
What the hell was that?
Point the camera! See?
Oh shit!
No, but you're not getting it on camera.
I think he's very present on this boat, and there are some things that are, let's say, unexplained.